just buckle in, because this is the issue that took me 3 years to make. Not because of a lot of breaks like the current issue I'm taking forever to make, but because I just put that much time into it. But we'll go more on that in the commentary. And I will start with the trigger warning. I added this trigger warning about a few months after this issue came out. But trigger warning, Act 9 of Heaven Gate contains graphic depictions of mass violence and bloodshed taking place in the streets of Las Vegas. Your discretion is advised to anyone sensitive to such material, especially those affected directly or emotionally by the mass shooting event of 10/1/17. So, this is Heaven Gate, Act 9 from 2017. Last time on Heaven Gate, Act 8, Neil is haunted by the loss of Jenny, whom Courtney is haunted by her continued jealousy of. Ashamed and no longer able to bear her own insecurities, she breaks up with Neil. Meanwhile, the president authorizes a nuclear strike on Area 51 in an attempt to wipe out Mavis. Mavis manages to survive, and stumbling through the desert, happens upon a new playground, Las Vegas. And author notes, which I think this is the first time we have these. I started work on this issue in April of 2013. It's taken me 3.5 years to complete. More work went into the issue than any before, and I really hope that shows. But Heaven Gate is a series that I need to move on from. Laughs in 2023. I do plan on seeing the series through to its conclusion, but I can't afford to put this much work into every issue. So please enjoy issue 9 of Heaven Gate, and please understand if issue 10 doesn't look as polished. You'd be surprised. Nathan Yeager, November 2016. We open up with Peoria, Illinois. And a plaque, which I can't quite make out. In memory of the lives lost in September of 2008. Do you ever blame me? Blame me for what? I was the one who opened the Hellgate 12 years ago. I let the demons free. It's my fault everyone died here in Peoria. It's my fault your mother died. You forget I was in that cavern with you that day. And I don't judge you for what you did on accident. I judge you for what you did on purpose, which is step up and become the Demon Slayer. To me, you're not the man who opened the Hellgate. You're the man who sealed it. Las Vegas, Nevada. The Fashion Show Mall. Sheds and Royals. Does Courtney look kind of bummed thinking about... But I love you. I don't know how to believe that. Courtney? Courtney? Courtney! Sorry. You know, I got a whole line of people waiting. I was glad to hear she had decided to go ahead with the book tour. She originally canceled it. Said her boyfriend was going through something and she needed to be there for him. The way she's acting, I wonder if they broke up. I hope this doesn't affect her writing. Signs her name. Give the book back. Does this signature look funny to you? How would I know? Why didn't you bring a Demon Gate book to get signed? Because I'm not into that vampire romance crap. Is that another serial killer book? Don't judge me. Whatever. It's demons, not vampires. What's the difference? Demons are way hotter than vamps. Don't. What's happening? Is this reality? Nothing feels real. Where? Oh, cute. She's in shock. Spreads out his aura. And the aura makes a beeline for that new cut on her arm. Now, who do you serve? My beloved, Lord Draco Mabus. Act 9. Good. Now step aside, my new pet, while I make this city our own. Heavengate. Hellgate the movie. Kaboom! What was that? A terrorist attack? Dispatch, dispatch! We got a 1080! I repeat, a 10... Pff. Hands up! Gah! Sliced. Aura goes out, and they're his too. Stop right there! Bang! Bang, 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 bang. We got the zombie cops and the non-zombie cops shooting at each other. All chaos breaking loose. This is a very hard scene to read. It's all just chaos. There's a fire. Gunshots? There was an explosion. They're shooting at each other. What's going on? Just mows through them, taking over. Just a whole slaughtery montage, wiping them out. More gunfire, people running from the gunfire, more zombies, shot, stabbed, strangled, more aura, more zombies, everywhere, chaos, running through the streets, fire spreading. Until he comes across a casino. Bam! And seemingly no one in the casino heard the commotion outside. Who the hell is this prick? Huh? Oh, Mabus is very surprised by what he sees. Including, oh, her? Ooh. And what is this place? Hey, you do not come busting into my casino and ignore me, Jack. A casino? Goons start pulling out their guns. Gambling? Sex? Violence? You earthlings are fascinating. Listen, you death metal looking freak. I'm about to waste you, so you better start. Boss, this... Jimmy, what's wrong? This guy... I think this guy has a demon. What the hell is wrong with you? I was living in Florida. I saw one of these things wipe out a city. I'm sick of this. Just ice the bastard. We can't stop this guy. Bang. Anyone else want to ignore my orders? Ah, so it's fear that keeps them under your command. Say goodnight. Boop. Popped his head off. You... Poof. Jimmy... You all have a choice. Work for me in life or serve me in death. The fire spreads. Meanwhile, at the Lake Eureka High Security Army Base, we got the mess hall and... What? She broke up with you? God! Sits back down. Do you have to yell? I swear to God, if this is another jealousy thing, I will rip off every fake blonde hair from her head. I can't blame her. Yes! Yes, you can! Blame her, damn it! Jesse sits back down. Where's Demonic? He went to heaven. He died? What? No, he's immortal. He went to retrieve the red gem. What's that? If I use it with the Jaeger sword, I'll slay every demon at once. So if you had to unseal the Hellgate to get the Jaeger sword, you could kill Mabus and then use the gem to seal the demons again quickly? And that's the plan. But wait, I thought the gem warped and wouldn't work that way anymore. It just absorbed you, Hippo, and God. What? Demonic is hoping that the time it's spent in heaven since then will have purified it. Couldn't you just use the gem to absorb Mabus? All the other demons combined would only equal half of Mabus's power. The gem was not designed to handle that. Happy Hippo. Let's not forget, a freaking nuke was dropped on the guy. I'm sure any minute now we'll get word that he's ultra mega dead. This just in. Oh. We have reports in stating that Vegas is a war zone. Casualties are piling up, and sources are saying that Las Vegas is under attack by what looks to be a demon. This would contradict the government's statement 6 years ago, claiming that all demons have been sealed. But with images like this, it's hard to come up with another explanation. This whole scene echoes the events of Peoria 7 years ago. The creature shown here is said to be slaughtering anyone he comes in contact with. And, if I'm reading this right, the victims are rising back up to kill others. Local police and National Guard are trying to bring down the creature, but have been unsuccessful. Neil rushes out the door. I'll rip him apart! And blocked by a jeep. Where are you going? I need a Jaeger sword. I'm going after Mavis. You're no match against him with a Jaeger sword. That has been made clear. Fine. I'll use a Jaeger sword. What? I'll unseal the Hellgate, take the Jaeger sword, kill Mavis, and reseal the Hellgate once Demonic returns with the gem. I agree that is the best plan of action. But the President does not agree. That's not my problem. No one enters the Hellgate chamber without authorization from the President, not even the Demon Slayer. I won't let you down there. Bam! Just punches a tree. Crash. No one on this base is strong enough to stop me. Crap. Brian. I don't want to hurt. Wham! Oh! Even if you were able to force your way into the cavern, the security system would fill the chamber with quick-dry concrete the moment there was a security breach. Good luck getting a sword after that. Let's go. Where are you going? Marines, Air Force, National Guard, and Slayer Corps have all been ordered to Vegas. I'm to lead a team using Jaeger swords to try and take out Mavis. Take me with you! Negative. I need soldiers who follow orders. You're emotionally unstable. I'm the Demon Slayer! Which is why you need to stay alive in case we fail. That's final. Damn it! Punch. Meanwhile, back in Las Vegas at the fashion show mall. Ah! Stabbed. What the hell is going on? I gotta get away! Ah! Duck! Crack! You just killed that guy. He was already dead. Where the hell did you go anyway? To get a weapon. Now come on. If we're gonna survive, we need to get out of the city. Are these the undead things Sergeant Moody was talking about? Is Mavis here in the city? Make our way outside the mall and... Alright, let's get these people out of here. No, wait! It's okay. It's a big city. They're bound to have sent more. We just have to find them. Drives away and boom, flips. Oh. And where might you all be going? Oh, Mavis! Bam. Damn you. I show up and everyone tries to leave. That's just rude. Bam. This scene is familiar. I'm hoping the ending is different. Actually, I'm glad you're here. You're the one that told me that Demon Slayer would return with the Jaeger sword and fight me. What happened to that? Change of plans. Ching, shum. Just a flurry, but Mavis dodges all of them. Dodge, getting more and more annoyed. Jumps back. I think I've seen enough. You're even less a swordsman than your little brother. I'm bored. Gives a signal and suddenly he's surrounded. I'll leave you to my new friends. Your people's affinity for betrayal is downright adorable. You're not the only one with friends. Oh, and there is the Slayer Corps. And Brian jumps back. Energy! Everyone starts gathering the energy. Dragon! Boom, 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 boom. A flurry of energy dragons all making their way directly at Maebus. This is getting old. Maebus starts to spin, and Red Gosnado blocks all of them. And everyone is caught up in it. Maebus's friends and foes alike, even poor Brian. As we fade away. Jaeger! Master Sergeant Jaeger, can you hear me? He's responding. Get a stretcher over here. I failed. And the sun sets. Meanwhile, back at the Lake Eureka High Security Army Base, you see Neil and Jesse in the woods and some broken wooden swords all around. Neil cuts right through a tree with a wooden sword, no less. Hippo wants to know why you hate trees. Toss me another one. Jesse tosses him another one, and then, phew, a light from the sky. Demonic! Sorry it took so long. I had to wait for the gem to be retrieved from the realm of the dead. The situation's gotten worse since you left. I know. I watched from up there while I waited for the gem. Which reminds me, Neil, your brother. What? Master Sergeant Jaeger is recovering at the Weed Army Community Hospital at Fort Irwin. Recovering? He'll be fine. However, the rest of the Slayer Corps was wiped out. Damn it! I should be out there! How much longer are we going to play around while people die? The president agrees. What? The president has asked that you take the Jaeger sword and use it to kill Draco Maebus. You are hereby authorized to open the Hellgate. Oh, look, merch. I think this is the first time we had our Redbubble store. We got shirts and stickers and pillows and mugs and posters, and these are all, yeah, Redbubble. Did I never do one for Society 6? Well, this is still, yeah, redbubble.com/people/Jaeger comics. You go check it out if you want. Next time on Heaven Gate Act 10, 6 years after sealing it, Neil will now reopen the Hellgate and retrieve the Jaeger sword. But Neil does not take the idea of releasing the demons of hell lightly, as he has the entrance to the Hellgate cavern sealed behind him. Credits: Art and story, Nathan Yeager. Photography assistants, Carl Yeager, Crystal Beal, David Beal, and Nate Miller. Photoshop brushes from Hitokiri147, editor K Fanistock. Demon Gate cover art, Rachel Dunn. Fonts, blambot.com and defont.com. Cover features photography by Steve Brown of model Brittany Korrick. Created in Manga Studio. JaegerComics.com. So let's talk about this issue. First of all, this cover. This is the last Photoshop cover. I made it just before I made the switch to being a full digital artist with Manga Studio. I still really like this cover. I pull a lot of details into it. This poster in the back is actually someone I went to high school with. I mentioned it in the credits. She's also the basis for Brittany Korrick in Hellgate, a character most people don't remember because she's in a handful of issues and her appearance changed every time. But I use like a lot of like blood smear brushes and the fire effect I really like, and just Maebus just covered in blood splatters and stuff like that. Also, I may have mentioned this last issue, but so Maebus has been through the nuclear explosion now, and part of tattering up his coat was me getting really sick of his high collar because it kept cutting off parts of his face during side views. And so he now has a tattered collar. Great. But I also tattered his sleeves, and now they are like 30 times more pain in the ass to draw. And I've been stuck with that ever since. Also, there's an alternate version of this cover where all the blood is rainbow colored, and it's actually a poster of Kay here in the back, and I think all the fire's gone. And that is because Kay really liked this cover, and I wanted to make her a wallpaper that she could use at work, and I wanted to make it more safe for work, so I got rid of the blood and made everything rainbows and smiles. And I think I like crappily edited his swords to be paintbrushes, so it was like he was just painting like rainbow all over the place, or pink. I don't know. I had a few waltz. Yeah, this is the last of the Photoshop covers, because as we can see here, we are no longer working with inks and colored pencil. This is completely made in Manga Studio, a program that's now known as Clip Studio Paint. And yes, this issue took 3.5 years because I was like, I'll switch to digital. I bet that's faster. It wasn't. Not if I put this level of detail in. And you'll see starting next issue how I found like a happy middle ground. And how I still think I might pull back even more for issue 16. For quickness reasons, and also just kind of to get a more pure manga look to it. But here, because I was, the whole point of why Heaven Gate was full colors, I was trying to make it for the fact that it wasn't animated. I was going to make an animated movie in Flash or something. And I never learned animation. And so I was like, I'll make it full color. So like, I felt like I had to keep up with that promise. And so when I went digital, full color, and like, I still remember working on this page. And this was like where I was getting my feet wet with digital, fully digital art. No longer sketching, scanning, and coloring it with a mouse. I am now working with a tablet. It wasn't a screen tablet yet. It was just a lap tablet. And I had to, I remember just this page was an experiment on me trying to figure out how to do my line art. And I realized I gotta be quick with my line art, because if I try to make my line art precision perfect, it will take forever. It already takes forever, but it'll take even more forever. And so this is where I started to develop my fast line art style that's a little bit messy, but gets the job done and has some benefits to it that I like quite a bit. This is a photograph background. I use a different filter now when I use my backgrounds, but this one worked okay. It doesn't look too photorealistic. I had to, this is technically East Peoria here, which is its own city. And then across the river, that's Peoria. And this hill here, it almost kind of feels like Hollywood Hill for Peoria, because a lot of times people will write on this hill in like toilet paper or something. And so it almost looks like, because this hill looks over like the whole city. And I was like, I want to get a view from the top of that hill. It was not easy. Because there really isn't any access up to that hill. The bottom of the hill is like a ramp connecting two major highways. And so that's not a good place to park your car. And so I was like, well, what's behind the hill? And I saw that there was residentials back there. But even then, once I got up there, that was a scary place. Like, it wasn't like a bad neighborhood, but like people live up there out of the way for a reason. And that reason is they trust no one. Like, every fucking sign said trespassers will be shot. Like, they are some untrusting people up on the back of that hill. And so I couldn't walk through there. Like, I couldn't just like walk through someone's property to get to the hill from like the back of it. So basically followed the whole road back down to the base of the hill and then went straight up the hill. Had a buddy with me, a guy named David, and got these photos. And then I edited out the bridge, because I had established in Hellgate that this bridge, this is the McCullers Bridge, had been destroyed during the attack at the end of Hellgate on Peoria. And so that's, a lot of work on that. And then, of course, also some Vegas photography, because I knew that the next few issues were going to be having a lot to do with Vegas. And so I made a trip out to Las Vegas. It coincided with my dad and stepmom being out there too. And so I ended up staying in a hotel room with them. And yeah, this is when I met Mochi Buns. The only time I met Mochi Buns in person, because Mochi Buns lives in that area. And yeah, so like I didn't get much reference done with her, because like we were out and then she started to feel unwell. So we went back to her place and played video games. But like me and my dad did a lot of walking. I knew specifically I wanted to find the fashion show mall because I'd found pictures of it online. I was like, I need a mall setting. That's perfect. So I wanted to get some pictures there. So all these establishing shots, these are photos. This is fully drawn. This frame here, fully drawn, but oh man, practically traced off of a photo, but there wasn't a bookstore in the mall. And so I just found a spot that fit my needs and then drew a bookstore on top of it. Man, this was like a week of work, and it's like a frame your eyes dart off of in 10 seconds. And Sheds and Royals, of course, it's a play on Barnes and Nobles. This is our first time meeting Courtney's manager. And then this girl here, this Demon Gate fan, is actually based off of Mochi Buns. This is actually and man, that face is just so like, she's such like a super fan of Courtney's in the Demon Gate series. And then this character here is based off of my best friend. This character's based off of Kay. And yeah, we got this scene here, and then boom. I wanted just this normal interactions, this normal conversation, and then just out of nowhere, this huge chunk of concrete just takes out Mochi Buns. And then here's where I started getting experimental. Now she's in shock. So like her whole perspective changes. Like the way I colored her was different. I went with this like sketchy red background. And you can see here's the transition between the two. And she's just looking around. You can see there's what's left of her friend. She looks up. She can see Maebus popping out of the hole that he just made in the ceiling of the mall. Maebus comes jumping down. And then this is where she snaps out of being in shock. And the way I did this is I had to draw this twice. So there's a version of this drawing that's completely out of shock, right? Where I'm doing my normal line art and all that kind of stuff. And then there's a version of this drawing that's, you know, in this style where it's sketchy red line art. And then I used a mask to bore a hole between the two. So yeah, that took a lot of work. And then, I mean, this is probably one of the coolest possession scenes. Also, take a look at Kay's shirt here. Wink 293 instead of Blink 182. It's like wink, and then I moved each digit up by one. Wink 293. Get it. Anyway, but yeah, probably one of the coolest possessions I've drawn in the series, just having it wrap around her like that and just go right into that wound. This is a partial possession because she's still alive, so she just gets the yellow eyes and a little bit of the markings, because humans can be possessed before they're dead because they don't have energy to they don't have any energy of their own, so they're easier to possess for Maebus, opposed to having to wait till back on Mars, he had to wait till people were dead to possess them. This, I really like this frame where he's just like combing his hand through her hair like that. Like, goddamn, that was a really good shot there. Kay adores these two pages. She really likes Maebus. So this, my beloved Lord Maebus, the way he's like, who do you serve? This is interesting, and we'll talk about more about this later. But I kind of didn't have a plan for this character at this time. And then I came up with a plan later that kind of contradicts this. And so I had to write kind of an adjustment to move from their relationship to be like, oh, you're my little pet. Oh, you are my lord, to what it will become later. I had to write an adjustment for that. And it's not really a retcon. I think I worked it out just fine. I didn't just ignore this and then like change their relationship later. I showed why the relationship changes, but at the time, hadn't thought of that. And interestingly, this is where the issue ended at first, because this issue took so long to make. I decided to release it in parts. And this was the end of part 1. So for the first year, this is as far as you got. You got the first 10 pages. This is the only issue I've ever released in parts. And then I would let people know like a year later, like, hey, there's more, and I would just add it to the end. So here's the explosion. That's another photo of the fashion show mall. That background, a lot of the backgrounds are manipulated photos. At this point, I've started using the cutout filter instead of the posterized filter. And here's where we just begin Mavis's rampage. Some of these backgrounds, like just I had to draw them entirely, and they were just a lot of work. And then to try and make things a little bit easier, I went for more stylized for the rest of the like the slaughter montage. I went stylized to try to make things a little bit quicker. A lot of this is actually based off some of the scenes from the opening to Attack on Titan. I use that for reference. This person's shirt says orgasm donor. That is something you will actually find in Vegas, is someone with shirts wearing that, and they are just trying to hand you cards for prostitutes. And I also think I have that shirt or something like that. I have a similar shirt. And also, this page, it hasn't started yet, but there were so many just randoms, and I was having a hard time like designing them. I put out a call on Facebook, and I was like, hey, who wants to be in my comic? Spoiler warning, you're gonna die. And a lot of people click like, and so I just started drawing a lot of my friends. And I will mention some that you guys may know, or at least know from like Gotta Make Fast Happen. This is a good shot here. It's almost like a recreation of a shot from an earlier issue, but I really like it. Always liked how this guy's hands just going like, I'm running from bullets. Definitely some here, people. Yep, that's definitely, that was a friend of mine who was pregnant at the time, and she's like, you draw me getting killed if you want to go to the special hell for drawing a pregnant lady getting murdered. I'm like, yeah, sure. Later, actually, thankfully, in real life, she didn't die, and that kid turned out to be a fan of Ninja Sex Party, and I was able to gift her a shirt because I accidentally ordered a child's large one time of a Ninja Sex Party shirt. More people here that I know. There's one of the baby mamas right there. I remember that. It's one of the baby mamas. I believe that's author Rachel Dunn right there. That's Fudge Brother, who helped me build this website. It's another friend of mine. Actually, that's David right there. That's the guy who helped me go up to the to that hill to take those photos of Peoria. This whole background I redrew just because I needed it in that specific style. That took a lot of time. And then we get to the casino scene. I remember taking these background photos. This was actually just a small room, part of a larger casino. It was like the high roller area, and everyone kind of gave me weird looks when I was taking my photos. And my dad's like, yeah, that's because it's the high roller area and you look really suspicious. I like this guy's design. He's got like these square fingers and he's just this big. I think I used like Giovanni from Pokemon as like a inspiration. This showgirl here I like. She was kind of inspired by Honey from Space Dandy. And yeah, so like Mavis came from Mars, where everyone was either holy or demonic. Everyone was either good or bad. And then, since he's been on Earth, he's just been on a military base. So he thought Earth was very boring. And now he finds this. He finds that Earthlings have the ability to choose between good and evil freely. That is very fascinating to him. And he is suddenly very interested in this place. Also, this guy right here, his color scheme is Starbomb. Specifically, it is the colors from the Starbomb logo. And then we have this guy who's like, I think this is a demon because he saw Aku's attack on Florida, which happened in Hellgate when Neil was briefly sealed inside the gym. what I did here to try to for like the flashback look is I went grayscale, and I also added a tone I can't remember the term for it now. Screen tone. I use a screen tone filter, which gave me some issues. Screen tone you got to be very careful with, especially when you're doing it in a digital aspect and not for print reasons, because screen tones, which, you know, if you don't know, is like a series of dots to suggest shading. Screen tones can, because it is a pattern of dots, if you aren't zoomed at the right way, like if you zoom out or zoom in just the wrong way, an unintended pattern will start to appear. And I actually did have that issue, and I got around that by like rendering the page out like twice or something, to prevent it. And yeah, I still really like how a lot of this looks. Like this is this dark bar look. And then yeah, just like, all right, before he gets a chance to shoot him, boom. Got his head right here. That's so fucking metal. Oh my god. And then yeah, I had to fight for this line. At this point, this is when Kay came on as an editor of Heaven Gate and started proofreading the series. And I remember she fought me on this line: work for me in life or serve me in death. She was like, it should be like work for me in, or serve me in life or serve me in death. I'm like, no, I like the difference. Work for me in life or serve me in death. And then we cut back to Eureka. I like this, like Jessica is just like, god damn it, is Courtney pulling her shit again? Or she's getting like weirdly jealous, or like, not again. She keeps having like calm herself down. And there's like this little background story going on where Hippo, for whatever reason, has decided he really wants that salt shaker. Hippo, look at him. He's reaching. He wants the salt shaker. He's reaching as hard as he can. There's this little background story I decided to throw in. It's like, oh, give me, I want the salt shaker. And then he finally gets it. He's so happy and just starts chugging it. And I don't know what he's expecting, but he rightfully spits that shit out. Ew, why would you do that, Hippo? And it just lands on Jesse's head, and it's just there for the rest of the scene. Just this little B plot in the background. Hippo's quest for the salt shaker. Hippo's ill-advised quest for the salt shaker. And I also love like Kiana, because Kiana wasn't present. Wasn't present for Hellgate, so she doesn't have all this like background knowledge about demons. Doesn't know about demons or demonic or the gem and all that. She's great, honestly, because Heaven Gate was supposed to be written in a way so that you didn't have to read Hellgate first. So Kiana gives me an excuse to explain things that the rest of my cast wouldn't need to talk about out loud because they already know. So when Neil's like, oh, demon went to heaven, Kiana's like, he died? Like, no, he can go to heaven as the thing he can do. What's the gem do? Well, the gem does this. You know, he wouldn't need to explain that to Jessica and Jesse because they were there for Hellgate. Kiana wasn't. And then I also like Jesse just casually talking about some really weird shit that happened in Heaven Gate. Like, it wasn't the gem warped and it absorbed you and Hippo and God? And she's like, wait, what? Did you say God? And then Henry Dieter. Remember Henry Dieter? He was at the end of Hellgate. He was the reporter with the camera woman who was reporting live on the scene at the final battle in Peoria. And now look at him. He's behind a desk. He's a newscaster now. He'd been promoted. Good for him. That is a very good angry shot of Neil. I like that. Interesting choice of colors. The red I get. The teal? What made me decide that? I like it. I just don't know that I would think to do that now. Neil running off. I like that. He is absolutely livid. That Jeep was difficult. I'm not good at vehicles, but I like how that came out. Like this scene quite a bit. Just a lot of good shots. I was really, really enjoying myself with these frames. I actually remember a friend of mine teaches an art class for like elementary school kids. And she asked me to come give a presentation on comic making. And this was the page I was working on at the time. And I brought this page in as a work in progress. I remember using it as an example when I was discussing my comic process. I remember me describing what's happening on this page. And she's like, but remember, we know not to use violence when we're angry, right, kids? This is just for comics and stories. And yeah, Neil just, it's like, I am way stronger than anyone on this base. You can't stop me. And Brian pulls out a Slayer core. This is our first time we've seen a standalone Slayer core. We've seen these. So, you know, or I guess maybe this would be called a Jaeger core. In any case, we've seen, right, the military has artificial Jaeger swords, right? The Jaeger swords, Mark III is what they're using right now, which gives them a artificial transformation and strength boost and all that. It just doesn't give them holy energy in the bale. You can't slay a demon with that. Yeah. So here we see that they've also made ones where it's not attached to a sword, because why? Like, if you have that technology to give someone that kind of like enhancement, you don't need to put a blade on it, right? So I just figured like some would be issued this. And so yeah, Brian just pulls this out of his back pocket, turns it on so that he's gets that boost in strength so he can throw his little brother around. This frame is interesting because originally, like, what he's doing here doesn't really match what he's saying, because I originally had this frame as him explaining what he has here, but I realized he doesn't really need to explain it. It kind of explains itself visually. And so instead I had him explain what would happen if you tried to break into the Hellgate chamber, which I don't know why he needs to hold up his shiny doodad while he does that, but I don't know. I still like it. Yeah, Neil's face all messed up now. I don't like this frame because he's supposed to be like punching the ground, like frustrated. The punch shouldn't be off screen. Come on, that should have been in frame. And these two frames right here, this is where the second installment of this issue ended. You had these two frames and the rest of us was blank. And that was the next part I put out a year after the first part. Pick up there, we got Las Vegas. Here's another friend of mine. Actually saw her for the first time in a long time this summer at a friend's housewarming. And there's David again and Stabs. And we got this Elvis impersonator who's already a zombie, and Courtney, boom. I love this top on Courtney. The idea when I designed Courtney's like default outfit for Heaven Gate was that she had like a black tank top and then like a white button-up blouse over top, and so you could always kind of see the tank top underneath it because it's like black on sheer white. And so now she has to kick some ass. She's taken that sheer top off. This tank top is a bit different than the original design. This is a very specific design based off of the adult performer. Brycey wore a top like this, and I was like, that looks really good. And I like basically saved that image because I knew I wanted to put Courtney in that top later, and that is now. Yeah, like this car flip. She's remembering the only time she's seen Mavis, which is in this grainy, this grainy footage of him from the first issue. And then when Mavis goes to give him a good strike, this. And then see, this scene is familiar. That's true, because like 2 issues ago, this very thing happened when Brian showed up at the last second to protect Neil. And yeah, I remember working on these. Kay gave me a lot of compliments for this one frame, and I'm still very proud of it. This flurry of stabs and him dodging. And I actually kind of really like the choreography here. I can kind of like, if you really pay attention to these 2 frames, you can see how they're moving, how he's blocking with one sword and then blocking with the other and stuff like that. And then I believe this page right here is the very first page I ever worked on Twitch. It wasn't my channel. I did not have a Twitch channel yet. What has been like 20? When is this from? '17. So this could have been like 2016, maybe 15 or 16. This was on Fudge Brother's channel. So I was visiting Fudge Brother down in because he went to college about a couple hours drive away from me. I was visiting him one time. I had brought all my drawing equipment with me. He was into Twitch streaming at the time. And he's like, "Do you want to draw on my channel?" I'm like, sure. And it was kind of short notice, so I didn't really have anything. I was like, I've just been working on Heaven Gate. And so I just started drawing on this Heaven Gate page on his channel. And like people were popping in and be like, "Who's this guy? What are you doing?" That was my first experience streaming on Twitch. Now I had streamed before then, right? I had streamed for years prior to that on live stream. But this was my first time streaming on Twitch, was working on this page. I really like, this is probably just the best energy dragons I have ever drawn. This is the first time I tried to show the mechanics of controlling the energy dragon. I had never really shown that before. It had always been in my head, but I'd never really bothered to portray it in the comic. So you can see the energy dragon, right? It comes from the end of the sword and then it dives in and out of the ground at its opponent. So then here on, I'm pointing with my fucking finger like you can see. Here, you can see this one is veering very sharply away as this guy moves his sword in that direction. So it's no longer just going forward. He can control it. And then there's Brian doing his own quick swing of the sword, and that one making a very sharp turn so they all converge on Mavis. And then Mavis starts to spin, and that is also a very good red gust NATO. I really like how that looks. The way the energy dragons are hitting it. Also, the way this whole scene is lit entirely by the energy dragons. Like, everything is dark except for that which is lit by the light of the energy dragons. I really like that too. It's a very cool effect. I am very happy with this. And I very much love this page where we see the dragons are ineffective. This guy, one of Mavis's allies, all cut up. This guy's already dead, so he doesn't care. We got some soldiers getting taken out, and then we see Brian getting, and then just slowly fades out. I really like this page. And then we have Brian waking up. We can see these people have some Jaeger cores on them. They're like a response team. They don't need swords, but you know, the enhanced physical capabilities probably come in handy in any war zone. So they've got a couple of Jaeger cores on them. That's why their hair is glowing too. And yeah, then we switch back over to Eureka. Could have swore there was like, this was in 4 parts. I guess it was in 3 parts. An earlier cutoff I forgot about. Oh yeah, this was a cutoff too. I forgot. Yeah, so this was the second cutoff here. The first cutoff was right after he takes over Kay. And then the second cutoff was here. And then this was the third cutoff. Before I was finally able to give people the finale of the issue. Here we just see Neil training by cutting up a bunch of trees with a wooden sword. Just going through wooden swords while he's just waiting for Demon to get back. I like this the way this lighting is. And then, yeah. Then we get the announcement that Neil is now authorized to open the Hellgate. Probably one of the coolest drawings of base Neil here. And actually, this is Neil's face that's used for the banner on the Jaeger Comics website. And speaking of, this issue was part of the relaunch of JaegerComics.com. Fudge Brother had gotten the redesign done months prior, but I wanted to premiere the new website with this issue finally being 100% complete. Also, this is the only time I've done a promotional poster for an issue. I kind of really wanted to promote that the issue is fully done. So we got, Brian versus Mavis, and I literally just copy and pasted Neil from the last page there. But yeah, so when this issue released in its entirety, finally, not just the first 3 parts, that is when the current version of JaegerComics.com was available. There had been one before that was way simpler. And that also means that this issue's release coincides with the beginning of Gotta Make Fast Happen. Gotta Make Fast Happen premiered with the new site. So. But yeah, I knew after I made that issue that I needed to make them quicker. And I'll talk more next time about like the process and how I decided to make things easier. But that was Heaven Gate Act 9. Thank you for that, Redeem the Gamer Boy. I think I just talked for a fucking hour. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, make sure you hit the like button, and I'd love to read your comments below. And make sure you're subscribed so you know when the next comic goes up. Also, check the description for a playlist of any readings you may have already missed. And if you'd like to read ahead, all of these comics are free on my website, JaegerComics.com. Bye!